Hi, I'm Mary Maybe, and I may be reviewing Breathe. We're having a bit of technical difficulty, so hopefully this works out. It's been a while since I've done anything on this channel, but I was just really busy. My middle sister was in town, I got a lot of movies to review. I don't know if I'm going to get to them all, but the thing is, all the movies I've seen, I'm quite passionate about. Breathe is something I watched 2 days ago, and I am also quite passionate about Breathe. And the reason I am is because it got not so stellar reviews, but I really don't think it was bad. And people were saying it's bad. It's got like 50% and maybe 60 on Metacritic. And I thought it was a decent movie. I don't really know what the critics were mad at, per se. So here we go with the short and simple. Come on, Oscars. I don't know what this doesn't have for you, okay? It's got all the makings of an Oscar contender. It's got all this acting, all this dialogue. It's a biopic. I don't know what you're looking for. Sure, it's a little boring, but when has that stopped you before? Like, Andrew Garfield is not even in the race to become the male lead. And that's just kind of crazy because this is a total Oscar performance. Whether that's good or not, I don't know, but it deserves an Oscar, a nominee at least. I even think Claire Foy should get a Best Leading Actress one. Like, I don't understand what the Oscars are doing this year. Put it in! So, like I said, I think it's, if you don't want to be bored, I'm not sure this is the movie for you. What I will say, ooh, I should not have moved, is that I had had a long day. I wanted to decompress, so I put it on my TV. I rented it, and it was the perfect movie to decompress to. It's not a movie that's gonna be like, whew, I'm ready for my day. It's gonna be a cool down movie. I think that's the perfect way to watch it. And if you're not looking for something, you're like, oh, this could be boring, it's not the movie for you. I also thought it was very, very heartfelt. It was produced by Jonathan Cavendish, who is the son. He's featured in the movie. The one other thing I will say, and I gave it a 9 out of 10. Oh, two things. I had a lot to say that aren't even plot thoughts. Okay. And I saw someone else, I wasn't going to comment on this, but I saw another reviewer mention this, and I noticed it myself. I did not understand the costume choices, because I would have thought it was the Imperial Age of the whole movie. It goes up until the 80s, it starts in the 50s, and it always looks like it's World War II or something. Like, they kind of dropped the ball, in my mind, in that opinion. And I think the costumes should have reflected the time maybe a little bit more. Maybe it's like they were distracted with his polio. Oh my gosh, I never summarized the movie. Okay, Breathe is about Robin Cavendish, who contracts, is that what it is? You contract polio, maybe? And basically the only thing he can move is his head. And so he leaves the hospital, and it's all about them trying to integrate people with disability more into life than they previously were in history. And so I think maybe it was like they were trying to be distracted. I just don't know. Didn't really get it. I also really liked how they used the audio, and I would give it a nomination for the audio. However, the Oscars won't, because that's when they try to get the blockbusters in. But basically the respirator is just used so sneakily and so well that it does things with you, and you're like, where is it? Where is it? Also, the music, I thought the music was kind of busy. It's not something I would listen to on my own. I didn't think it was pretty, I guess. But I felt like it was very effective at achieving the emotion it wanted you to feel. So I thought that the music fitted, and I thought the respirator was good. I think the sound overall was pretty dang good. Plot thoughts. Okay. The opening, oh, and if you don't know what a plot thought is, basically these at the most are minor spoilers, but usually they're just plots. If you don't want to know anything about the movie, this is where you stop. But the opening is so old Hollywood, and I really like that. I really like the old Hollywood glam thing. But they were pulling out all the stops. Like, my film teacher's like, I don't like La La Land because it tries so hard to be old Hollywood. I'm like, she will not like this opening, because this is way more old Hollywood than La La Land. Though, Claire Foy, she starts off as this kind of Hepburn, dreamy, bit naive type of girl. She doesn't stay like that for long. She is a headstrong woman in this film, and she gets stuff done. Claire Foy was a pretty interesting character. She plays Diana Cavendish. There are moments when the cinematography is great. I almost think this was a really good edited film. But there was the opening scene, you get this beautiful, beautiful sunset and this beautiful from the vinyl to the sunset. It's beautifully shot and then just like quickens into this tennis scene that I just thought was the weirdest bounce from being this really lentement, gorgeous scene to whoop! And it just threw me off completely. And what people have been giving it negative reviews for being too chipper, and I really didn't see the movie as that. I thought Robin Cavendish, especially during the beginning of the movie, was very somber, and it was kind of about his arc to not being somber and to being happy. So that is kind of what I will say about that. I think that's why some people disliked the movie, but that's really not how I felt about it. And the last plot thought is there is the initial Jonathan, who's like 5 or whatever. It's been 2 days, I don't remember the years. I feel like whoever wrote this, do you know how sometimes you're like, have these people ever met a kid? The elephant, and then Claire Foy's like, the elephant, and then goes, in Africa. And what it was doing was it was trying to make this kind of sadness that now he has polio. Robin Cavendish can't give that kid the trip to Africa. But it was written poorly. And now we're going to move on to the spoilers. So we have to talk about the depth of Chapman's character. Dean Charles Chapman plays Jonathan Cavendish, and he will never be nominated for anything because he was in the movie so little, and I'm kind of crazy for thinking he gave us that great of a performance when he's only in the movie for like 5 to 10 minutes. But you could just feel a million emotions when he was there in every scene he was in, and you could see the pain. I really felt they played him off completely right. The way Claire Foy reacts to him, the way he reacts, it's like he could contort a million emotions through his one face. It was kind of crazy great. I was just kind of, whoa, who is Dean Charles Chapman? Because I think he is a master actor, which is really crazy of me to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. And I know it ends with assisted suicide, and I know people are going to have a lot of political thoughts about that, but this is all based on a real guy, so I don't think it's really my place to say anything on that, so I'm going to skip that. That's my own personal decision to do that. The ending of the movie, where they have those real-life videos, first off, who was taking those videos? Because they had videos from all these... Who was at the camera? But also, when it happened, I didn't even really notice it was happening. Like, I started checking my phone, and I was like, wait, it's still going? And I was like, oh, it's a real home video. It was just kind of weird. I think it would have been different if I watched this in movie theaters as opposed on Amazon Video, but it was what it was. I also felt so bad for Robin when they just do that blood. I don't know if that was realistic or not to polio, but that was just, the makeup department did good there because I felt so bad for Robin. I was like, oh, that's so painful. I can tell that's so painful. I would be so terrified if I was Diana Cavendish right there. And that was another time Jonathan Cavendish gave a brilliant performance because and I was like, oh, you've gone through so much, Robin. You don't need all the blood. It was just a really sad moment that ultimately played into his suicide. The last note I'm gonna say really didn't have to go in spoilers, but I guess I remembered it when I was writing spoilers. It is kind of sad because I don't know how much of a unsung hero Robin Cavendish is. I don't know enough about the history to know if it was more the inventor or what that should get credit. But if you look up his name, Andrew Garfield comes up before him, and I think that's really sad because ultimately Robin Cavendish is a person, and I feel like if you're gonna look him up on Google, he should probably come up before Andrew Garfield. But that was my opinions of Breathe. I think it deserves much more Oscar buzz, not necessarily winning, but I think it deserves to be in the talks. And I believe this is time for me to sign out. I'm Mary Maybe, and that might have been my review of Breathe.